Hello, Mr. Ed here. Today is the 20th of February 2016. Today I'm back in the shop and I'm going to actually assemble some of these telescoping covers. Yesterday I actually cut out the lid cover for them. I got all those stacked up and ready to go, and these are the end of them, the product of it. One thing I did forget to mention, not to make myself look like this bright genius or something, but I had our CNC guy, Al, he actually helped me do the programming to write the program to cut these things out, and so I appreciate that help from him. And it was just a matter of, hitting the start button on the machine, and it'll cut all these things out. So thanks again, Al. So I'm going to assemble a frame, show you everything that I use to build one of these things, and kind of like cost differences between buying a bought telescoping cover from Man Lake or Better Be or wherever you get them from, and then what it costs me to build these. So I'm going to give you a little showdown of the exact components what I use. So we'll start off with the outer pan cover, and I buy these from Better Be. It's kind of hard to find these things, I found, and Better Be sells these things for about it's right around $8 a piece, but by the time you add shipping to them, it'll jump it up to about $10 a piece. But it's a 26 gauge steel as opposed to aluminum, which is you'll find a lot of other people sell the aluminum. I prefer the steel one, so this is the one I use. And this really is how you determine how big to make your pieces. So you've got to measure the inside of that pan cover, and then that would determine your length and your width of your pieces of wood. So that's what happens here, is that I got the width for my wood and my length, and I cut it, mitered it, and then ran the plow in it. So you can see there's a plow, or a dado as they call it, that runs the whole length of the board, and then that's on the inside, and on the outside you can see where it's just a straight shoulder. And that shoulder is actually the distance, 3/8 of an inch. That is the distance of the pan cover, that lip right there. So that lip actually protrudes beyond that edge of that dado right there, and it covers everything up. So the two sides and the two ends are cut and then mitered, and then actually had the plow put in it. So then the other component of the board, of course, would be the inner cover lid right there, and that's that video I made yesterday on the CNC. So the tools that I'm using today, starting out with, is it's a staple gun, and I'm shooting a 1.5 inch staple with this gun right here, and that gun I actually use to shoot the corners of the cover. Shoot one on the top and one on the bottom on each corner. Then after the corners are put together, then I'll go ahead and use this gun over here, which is another staple gun. That one I'm just shooting a 3/4 inch staple, and that will actually staple the cover onto the groove inside of that groove right there. It'll actually staple the cover onto that groove. So the glue I use right there, it's a Tight Bond Type 2 water resistant type glue, and that way it doesn't break down in the elements. And this little fixture that you see right here, this is just something I put together to actually help in building these boxes, covers, in that it's just corner clamps, and I can set the pieces of the two sides, the two ends in there, and it will actually hold them while I staple them together without my hands being in the way and the chance of those staples going through my fingers. So I'm going to go back over there, and I'll show you how I assemble one of these covers. And then I'll set them inside the fixture. I'll just put a little bit, that's all. You don't need a whole bunch. Just on the edge. Helps if you put them in the right side. Alright, so now that your sides and ends are in, and I'm going to line them up. And what I'm doing as far as lining them up, I'm trying to get the two, this edge right here and this edge right here in the miter. You want these things to be flush at this point right here. And the reason you want that to be flush is because when you put the piece of plywood on there, it's actually going to overlap each one of them and sit in there. So when it's nailed together, this is what you're going to get. Here's your piece of plywood right here. This is your plywood, and as you can see, it fits flush to the top of your groove right here, and there's a shoulder at this point right here where I'll come back and staple along this edge, and that will then support the whole piece of your lid. So we want to make sure that this corner, all the corners in this very part right here, we want that to be flush as well as to have the joint itself tight. So I hold the wood is being held by the fixtures right here, and all I have to do at this point is go ahead and get my staple, and I'll shoot a staple on the top of this side and on the underneath side of right here. So I'll do that right now. And again, I don't want that staple to go in my hand, so I'm kind of holding these things away from it, and as long as I line it up flush with that, we'll be all right. So it's flush. Make sure you come around on the back side of it. Shoot again. Take my jig, line it up. Again, I'm just lining up making sure that the miter itself is tight and the two tops right here are flush. I want my plywood to sit good in there. Right. So now we have all our sides shot, held together. Next thing we're going to do is run a bead of glue along this shoulder right here, because this is where our piece of plywood is going to sit. And we get one of our nice pieces of plywood that are CNC cut in, and you know the measurements are right, so this thing should just drop right in like that. It's in place. And now we're going to use the 3/4 inch staple, and we're going to just staple it along the edge. Alright, that part's done. So then the last thing we'd do actually would be to put the lid cover on there. Now I'm not going to put it on because I actually have to paint these tops. They won't paint the tops, but just these sides. And so I don't want to attach the cover to it yet, but I'll show you. The cover will just slip right onto that. You see it just goes right down. It fits right on top of it. And this would be the completed lid. So You see it overlaps the side. The inside of it looks. No nails, no staples going through it. All that looks very good. Corners look real good. Glue in that. So there you have it. Completed telescoping cover. Well, this one is completed, and as you can see, it really does fit very nicely. I don't know if the camera's going to be able to show you this distance, but the lid fits completely inside of the boards that we cut out. So the measurements were correct. As I said, though one of them is done, I've still got 50 more to build. So I'm going to get busy with that, and I just want to sign off for now. So thank you for watching. Keep on watching, and I'll be making more. Mr. Ed out. God bless.